wish Mother was here.
This is the Candyland Hour for all good children. The orchestra will play our theme song.
You know that song, don't you?
Sure I do.
Well, then sing it.
Hello, welcome to Pursuit Table Talk. This is Pastor Mike Hofer, along with
Evan Amone.
No, Barfield.
Kristen Hofer.
and we would like to welcome you to our celebratory 10th episode.
Double digits.
Yes, we are in double digits.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be in double digits, yo?
Feels like
Feels that
we're
good,
more
huh?
than one now.
I never thought we
More
would
than
get
one
this
digit.
far. I don't know what to say.
Never thought we
I
would get to
know.
10.
We've actually followed through.
We have now
I'm so
gotten to
proud
10.
of us.
Me too. I'm really proud of us.
Reminds me of my 10th birthday party when I turned 10 at Monkey Joe's, and they let you sit in that big blow-up chair. Yeah.
We should have all
And
gotten big
I was
blow-up
like double
chairs.
digits.
Yeah.
Mine was
I
at
remember
Burger King.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
My friends will remember that.
it's a big year for us. Our daughter turns 13, our son turns 16, and we got 10 episodes of Pursuit
Yeah.
Table Talk.
Obviously,
Alright.
Pursuit
That's
Table
big.
Talk's the most important number out of
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
right. Yeah, something like that. And we've been married for 18 years. So that's kind of cool.
Shout out to Tim. It's his birthday the day we're releasing this.
Woo-hoo.
Yes.
Text him.
Tim Hofer, shout out. Sweet 16, gonna wear pink, never been kissed. All that stuff.
Are you dropping hints to the ladies?
Yep, he's hot, dude.
He is.
If you like bearded,
Men,
rustic, long hair,
beautiful.
mountain men, like if
Who
you
don't talk much.
if you wear Old Spice and Meacham, if that's the kind of man you're looking for, Tim is your guy. He's a hottie.
Jump on it, ladies.
He's
I
a
love
good
him.
listener.
He wears
Pursuit Prom's 2 weeks away.
he wears camouflage and cargo sweatpants. He's got a 185 IQ. He likes long walks on the beach. Bottles of water. He's my son. I love him. He's my baby boy. Oh, mama.
Yes.
All right, back to Pursuit Table Talk. We're just glad you guys are here with us.
Oh my gosh.
That was a rabbit
So
hole.
that's right. Hey, the first thing on our rundown today, our run sheet for tonight is the first topic is random banter. So I don't think we could get any more random than what we just did. But we're glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. This is a big week, 10th episode. We also like to send a personal invitation out there to anybody that's listening, 6th grade to 12th grade, to come on through to our Pursuit community on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
Got a lot of cool stuff happening. Wednesday nights is kind of our big group night. We have worship through music, worship through the word. We have hangout time. We have we have food. It's not really free. It's like a $2 donation, but if you don't have money, you get to eat. We don't keep you from eating just because you don't have money. But
That's right.
it's really good food. This week, I think we're actually having pizza
Hey.
tomorrow night. You won't know that until after this episode, until after we've eaten the pizza. But it's a really good time. So we just invite you guys to come on out. It's come as you are. Even if you're a seeker, even if you really don't even understand this Jesus thing, trying to figure it out, you would have a place in our group. Like our group is just awesome like that. No clicks allowed. Just the click of love. So that's
Awesome.
it's the name of my
The
next
click of
it's the
love.
name of my next love album, The Click of Love. With special guest Evan
Evan
Amone.
All
Amone.
right, Snoop Dogg.
And so we'd just like to invite you. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Pursuit Prom is going to be on the 28th of
Yeah.
April.
That's right.
It's a prom for anyone who wants to come. You don't have to be a part of Pursuit, but it's just a clean, cool environment. We'll have a DJ Ethan Lamb. He'll come and spin on the 1 and 2s. We'll have dancing, so don't think we're not going to dance. Like, it's going to be rowdy.
We are very
rowdy.
good dancers.
We are. For a bunch
Noah
of
especially.
for a bunch of white
Like when I busted
Methodists.
my knee at the homecoming.
For a bunch of white Methodists, I think we got the dance part pretty good. Actually, it was pretty cool.
But everybody has to be one ESV
We just
Bible
don't do
part.
the everybody's bumping and grinding R. Kelly
Yeah.
remix. Like we don't do
Totally.
that part of it.
No.
But it's a lot of fun. We'll have food. BK is, I think we just ordered like 350 chicken nuggets the other day.
They'll be gone.
So there will be some
Yeah, those will
chicken
all be
nuggets
gone.
in the
I
building.
love chicken nuggets.
We're gonna have a ball pit. We can take prom
That's gonna
pictures
be
in,
fun.
which is gonna be really cool. We're gonna have a red carpet, get pictures taken, some formal pictures. So it's gonna be really nice. Get your prom dress and your suit or your tux on. Come on out. Kristen and I have got ours already prepared. We're going with the bumblebee look. We're yellow and black and white this time. So although it's kind of hard as a Patriots fan to wear that
I know Steelers colors.
because my hate for the Steelers goes super deep.
I can't
and
even
so-
believe that you just connected football with prom.
Yeah, I just did because
I mean-
that's how deep my hate for the Steelers goes. Like I even hate cabs, like because they're yellow and black. I'm like, ooh, I hate you because you're a Steelers fan.
And
Wow.
bumblebees.
Yeah, and bumblebees, I swat them all out of the air. So
You're the
it's
reason
just-
the bee population is dying.
that's right. I'm killing the bee population. Although I love honey, so there's that. But just come on out. We got a Six Flags trip coming up.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
Color Wars in May.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of crazy cool stuff coming up. We got camp in June. So just come hang out with us. If you have any questions, you go to our website, ccclive.org, and just kind of click on the student ministry banner, or you can check out pursuetoday.live, which is our blog. Our daily devotional thought is there. We put some information up there every now and then. Our calendar is there. You can check us out there. Our podcast is there. Or you can follow us on social media. It's at We Are, just the letter R, Pursuit. At We Are Pursuit. That's Instagram and Facebook. Those are two social media platforms we have right now. Just check us out. Give us a follow. Give us a like. You can find out all the information you need there. So today we got a couple topics we wanna hit, and first we're gonna start off by doing our sigh moment of the week. Our sigh moment of the week is just that moment where you see something in life, anything. It can be funny, it can be serious, it can be personal, it could be just a meme that you saw, it could be something you saw at Walmart. Like anytime, if it's past 11 p.m. at Walmart, you will always find a sigh moment.
That's so true.
Because it's always like,
Why is there only one lane
that lady
open?
is wearing
Those pants
a,
with that shirt.
That's right. She is wearing a Chewbacca onesie. And she's 57 years old. I don't understand.
Oh wait, no, that's just back here.
Oh, yeah, wait. That's just, she didn't shave her back.
Oh man.
Savage.
Yo.
Hashtag savage today.
It's funny.
But we
because
love that
it's true.
person. We just love that person, but it's true. So we're gonna start out with our sigh moment of the week. I'm gonna go across the table this time.
Yeah.
Noah is first.
Awesome. This is the first.
So Noah B, what do you have for us today? Sigh moment of the week.
My sigh moment happened this past Saturday, I think. What had happened was me and
That's
my,
always that's the definition of the great story. Like
what had happened
when you start
was
off with what had happened
these two
was
dudes. And in this case, the two dudes are me and my good friend Aaron. Shout out to Aaron Cowart.
Aaron C getting married in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Shout.
Which leads us to this story. He and his fiance are moving into a new place, so I was helping him move some things in. One of which was a piano.
Been there, bro.
And Aaron thought of the bright
Been there.
idea to make just the two of us move this
Oh,
piano.
Lord, no.
And it was one of the hardest moving things I've ever done. But I didn't hurt myself, which was good, because other times I've moved stuff, I've hurt my back.
I
But
Yes.
so wish I could have seen that.
it was
Yeah.
literally a case of, because it was awesome because it had this container that Hannah Mae's dad built for it. So we rolled it off the trailer in front of the house. But when we had to get it out of the container to move it, because the container was too big to get in the doors, when it got hard.
Oh yeah.
And it had wheels, but it didn't work very well.
Nope.
And we were worried about breaking the two front legs by just dragging it.
Yep.
So we literally just got on each end of this thing. Bear in mind, I'm only like 135 pounds soaking wet. So, and like, Aaron's just like a little bit stronger than me, but not that much. And so like, it was literally this case of 1, 2, 3, and waiting a couple of seconds, and then 3, and it took like 35 minutes. But you know what? we got that
You got
dadgum
it.
piano in place.
Yes. Shout out to the piano
It got in
movers.
place. Hannah Mae has her piano in place. And you know what? We have a bond that can never be broken now because it was forged through pain and tears.
True
And you know,
ABCmovers.com.
yeah.
Aaron Barfield and Coward Movers.com.
And you know what? I got a milkshake out of it, so it was all
Hey,
worth
that's
it.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
So
We've moved a piano a couple times. We were given an old upright piano when we were in South Dakota, and we moved it from South Dakota to Charlotte to here, and it is never easy to move a
It's the
piano.
heaviest piano I think I've ever.
Because I don't think
experienced
there's any piano in existence who have wheels that actually work.
yeah.
Like
Well,
the,
yeah,
the
and
wheels
that
on this
one
daggone
is so-
piano.
That one's so old it sat
Yeah.
in somebody's
Garage forever.
basement. Yeah, up in the Black Hills.
Yeah, I think
think the-
Beethoven played this piano when he
Yeah.
was a child. Like that's how old it is.
Yeah.
So it was transported from Europe
It came over on the
Somebody got that
Mayflower.
thing to you from Europe.
Amazing.
to the Black Falls.
That's right,
I
to the
don't
Black
think
Hills.
Beethoven would
I
have
think
played
they
this
carried it
piano.
over from the east on a wagon.
Yeah. Okay.
It's got quite the history.
Makes a great story.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that's a good one. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
that was
Chris.
exciting.
Chris, what's your sigh moment?
My sigh moment, I have a couple of them. I'm going to go with my sigh moment of the week is yesterday walking outside the door to go to work and my car is frosty. And it's April.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry.
I don't like that.
South needs to make its
We
mind
live
up right
in
now.
Georgia.
What are we gonna be?
It's never been like this before. It only got like this
And
when
that-
y'all got here.
do you
I'm
notice
just saying.
I'm telling you,
everyone says
everywhere
that?
we go.
It's
I'm
never
telling
been
you,
like this before.
the first year we were in Charlotte, they got 8 inches of snow.
It's
and
never
they were
been
like,
like this
they're like,
before.
oh, it hasn't snowed like this in 25 years. And we're like, you're a liar because it can't be us. First year we moved to western South Dakota, it was like they got 32 inches one night, and they're like, oh, it's
I've never
never,
done this
it's never
before.
like this, and we're like,
Ew.
shut up. The first year we were in Sioux Falls, South Dakota,
Yeah.
there was like a 10 or 11 day period where it didn't get over negative
45.
like it didn't get over like -3 the whole time. And there's like a 3 or 4 day period where it got down to like -45 real air temperature.
Yeah, we had a close.
And they're like, this is like 100-year low. And we're like, this can't be us. Like, we can't be bringing this weather. Because I hate it. And it may be us because
It
maybe
may
it's just
be.
Jesus'
Now
way
you've ruined the weather of
of
my homeland.
teaching me patience.
Yeah.
He's humbling me through the weather.
I'm not worried about myself. Like I can layer. I'm more worried about my garden.
Yeah, me too. Cause
Like we worked hard
we-
on that.
No.
we as in Tim and her
And
dad worked hard on
Dad,
that.
yeah.
You got the pitchforks and the fire.
That's right. You go run us out of town.
Anyway,
Run
not
us
too
out of town.
exciting.
I
But
saw a meme. It was really funny. It says that like, winter must be angry at spring because it keeps storming out,
Yeah.
and then storming back in the room and going, okay, one more thing. And so I thought that was funny
I
because that's
saw-
exactly
I
what
saw
winter is
one
doing
that
right now.
said something like the warm weather decided that it came, but then it decided to leave because your bodies were not ready for it.
My
I don't know what you're talking about.
always ready.
My body stays ready. Crunches, as
Yeah.
in cinnamon toast crunches. That's what I love. Those are my kind of crunches.
That's crazy.
I'll tell you. I told my family the other day it was wintertime. They're like, no, it's not. It's spring. I said, prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it. Like it's not spring yet. So that's a good one. I would sigh on that one myself.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Amon? What do you got? Go with it. Do it. Drop the pipe
Come
bomb
on, Evan.
us.
Don't be afraid, Evan.
Well, there's this meme that's been going around lately that's really just the whole society around it just messed me up. Is this tell me if you guys seen this, but this kid yodeling in the middle of a Walmart. Oh my
I
gosh.
skip over
That's
it.
I think it's a video though.
It
But I
is a
have
video,
not
but
seen
it's
it.
become
I
But
haven't
it's
seen
become a
it.
meme.
Has it become a meme?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
They're
it.
so mean to the kid, but it is so
Why is he in the middle of Walmart?
I don't know.
yodeling?
There's a video of him just
People are
yodeling
being
in the
mean
middle
to
of
the
Walmart.
kid?
Yeah, and they're like roasting on him, like, "Ooh, what is this?" And they're
People
making
hate
memes of him.
everything.
They might be roasting on him, but he just played
But
at
it is-
Coachella.
But it's just
Right.
He's making more money than them at like 6 years old,
mean-
however old he is.
You mean Coacharella?
Yeah, Coacharella.
That's what I called it earlier, Coacharella.
Pastor Mike.
I messed that all up.
It's so
Coachella
cool.
is what I meant, but
the
Yeah.
kid seems really cool.
but you
though.
know what though?
It's
That's our MO. Like we want to just
Hate.
bash everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the big reason is because it sells. Like
Yeah.
like positivity doesn't sell. Negativity sells tickets.
Conflict.
Yep. Conflict and negativity will always sell tickets. And
Taylor
so
Swift.
everybody
Yeah, exactly.
you write 30 breakup songs and you're a multi-platinum millionaire.
This
Hey,
whole last album.
You're not allowed to talk about Taylor Swift because you love her.
The
Like,
old
you-
stuff.
Okay,
We
no,
love the
no, no, no,
old
no, no.
stuff.
I've never listened to so much Taylor Swift in my life
I know,
as I
right?
have since
Baby,
we've come to
just
this
say
youth
yes.
ministry. I can probably name one song, and I have a 13-year-old daughter, so
Oh. Oh.
Singing
yeah,
in the back
I-
of the van.
Shout out to
Taylor
our Taylor
Swift.
Swift fans
Yeah.
and youth.
TS in the
Old Taylor
building.
Swift.
Oh, Taylor Swift. Oh, Tay Tay.
Tay-Tay.
13.
Yeah,
Swifties.
I don't even know. I've lost all control.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's just our society, man. We love to hate on everything.
Everybody feels like they have to have a comment.
It's and you can
about
be
things.
mad all you want, but it's the reason why people hate LeBron James. It's the reason why people hate the New York Yankees. It's the reason why people hate the New England Patriots. It's the reason why people hate Duke and North Carolina, Kentucky. It's the reason why they hate those kinds of things because they're successful and they're like, oh, and unless you are a big Alabama football, same way. Unless you are a big fan, you just hate them.
Yeah.
Cause it's what do we do, man? For some reason, it's so out of culture to be positive. It's so culturally relative to be negative, which is crazy to me. Because we all have this innate thing in us that wants to be accepted and positive, but it's like we don't. We're just so negative about everything. You could win free McDonald's for life, and somebody be like, "Oh, hey, McDonald's, you're gonna die." I don't like McDonald's, so I'm that guy. But
Yeah, and I thought you hated LeBron.
I do. I do hate LeBron, and I will admit it. Like I will admit
Half
it. Like,
of those things that you mentioned.
like I am 100% admitting to my LeBron hate, and it is unadulterated. It is uncalled for. It is nothing but jealous hate is all it is.
He's being honest in his faults.
Because in the same breath, I will tell you how great he is. Like I would just say, man, he's literally the best basketball player we've seen in the last 15 years by a long shot. Well, except for maybe Kobe in his prime, but Kobe in his prime was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, I'd go, man, I hate that guy. Because he's not on my team. If he was on my team,
Yeah.
I'd probably love him. But that's the cultural norm right now, isn't it?
Talk about
Like
you don't even have a team,
I don't have a basketball team in
which
NBA.
is so surprising because you're a Hoosier.
I'm just not a big NBA fan. It's not
Yeah.
to me. It's and I'm gonna sound super old right now, and I'm okay with that. It's not real basketball.
Yeah.
Like when I can take 4 steps before I shoot a basketball,
Right.
and that's the norm.
Like they hold the ball. And
I just
walk.
think that's crazy. I don't know. Call me old. I'm all right with it.
Back to
I didn't even know that the
fundamentals.
rules had changed. Like I've never
No,
sat
the
and
rules
watched
haven't
a-
changed.
They haven't changed. That's
They just
like,
let them get away
they
with
just
it.
let 'em do
That's
it.
the thing.
They don't blow
See,
the
that's how
whistle.
ignorant I am about that. Like I just don't know.
Yeah. It's not
Well,
supposed to be like
my sigh moment of the week is I got 2 and they kind of go together.
You can't have two.
that. You
That's
can't
not
have
allowed.
2.
They
I'm
go
joking.
together. I can and I will.
It's kind of like
Technically, he's the
a
one that
He's in charge.
facilitates this. so he
Actually, I
can do
did
what he
have.
wants.
I had 2 last week. You didn't say anything then.
I didn't.
Um,
know.
Didn't notice. We were too tired.
But I'll say this: they kind of go together. They're kind of the same realm. The first one is these 2 guys that got arrested at Starbucks this week.
What?
I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. Evan, have you seen this?
I've heard a little bit about it. Yeah.
Heard about this.
These 2 black guys. They were. I mean, they were in their 20s probably. I mean, it's hard to tell on a video, but they had. I mean, I guess my son's 16. He's got a full beard, but these guys had like full beards. They look like grown men, but they look like college students. And they were sitting in Starbucks, and basically they were kind of using the Wi-Fi and just sitting there. And they said, "Well, we're waiting on our friend to show up, and then we're going to leave." Well, the manager at Starbucks just was like, well, I don't want them in here now. Let me call the police on them. And so they called the police on these two guys. And the police came, and it wasn't a violent thing. There was no yelling. It was just kind of the police. It was in Philadelphia. And the police show up, and they're like, well, you guys got to go. And they're like, well, why do we have to go? We're just sitting here. You know, we're waiting on our friend. As soon as he gets here, we'll leave. And so the police were like, well, if you don't get up and leave now, we're going to throw the handcuffs on you. And they were like, well, I mean, what are we doing wrong? Like, tell us what we're doing wrong. And then some of the patrons, one lady started recording the incident. And one of the guys, a white guy there at Starbucks, looked like he's probably my age. So late 30s, early 40s. And he gets up and says, what, officer, what did they do wrong? Like, he's asking the police, like, what did they do wrong? We've been here the whole time. They haven't caused a problem. They're not being loud. They're not doing anything wrong but sitting here, having a conversation. What are they doing wrong? And they even go so far, it's like, that person over there doesn't have a drink. That person over there doesn't have a drink. Mm-hmm. Why are they allowed to sit in here?
Yeah.
And so the police arrest these two young black men and take them out, and they took them to the police station and booked them for trespassing. Well, the CEO of Starbucks got wind of this because the video went viral. And of course he gets on social media and makes a plea and basically is like, that's not how we do things. I guess they end up firing the manager of that store.
Good.
And so they responded to it. And the CEO actually reached out to those two young men, was going to have a face-to-face sit down with them and talk to them about it. How can we do this better? And they didn't press any charges. Starbucks decided not to press any charges, rightfully so. And so but then, of course, then people in Philadelphia, because Philly's just this way, then it breaks out in all these protests and these civil rights activists. They start marching on Starbucks stores and shut them down. I saw signs that was like, coffee's black, is it not allowed in Starbucks either? Like, there was all kinds of stuff, man. And to me, my sigh is this. It's like, when are we going to move past these things?
Right.
Like, y'all, we have got to do better. Why call the police on these two young men? They're not causing a problem. They're not. And I understand it's a business. They want to make money. That's a table for a customer. I get all that. But why not just reach out to them and say, man, thanks for coming to my store. I'm glad you guys are here. Here's some free drink. Maybe next time they'll be a customer.
Right.
Like, I think that there's things bigger than saying, man, you're taking a seat. And there are some racial undertones to that. Because I'm sorry. I can't believe that if two white kids were sitting there, the same thing would have happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I've never seen it happen. Never. And I hung out with all black guys in my life. Like, all of my friends, except for my cousin Billy, are all African American or Puerto Rican. Period. There's no exception to that. And I can tell you, I've never once been pulled over for being white. Never. And there's a lot of times I should have. But I've been pulled over at least a half a dozen times because I was with black guys. For no other reason. And I can tell you that because 3 of those times, the police literally told us, you're black and in our town. Because it was small town Indiana where the KKK has a big presence. And we had one cop pull us over. He said, well, you were going 41 in a 40. And he told us, he said, if you guys don't leave my town now, I'm taking you out of jail. We don't allow black people in our town. He literally told us that. And so, I mean, man, I'm so tired of having this conversation.
Yeah.
Now, I know we got to have it. It's got to happen. We got to continue to have it. We got to continue to struggle. But I'm just saying, my heart and my soul sometimes just goes,
when are we going to
when are we going to do better?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things, man, that just gets to me sometimes. And I'm like, man, we got to do better. But I will say this. I'm so encouraged by the students that I see, for the most part, that are under the age of 25, where this kind of stuff just outrages them. Because that gives me hope that when they're in their 30s and their 40s, that these kinds of things will happen less and less and less and less and less. Because then they're going to teach their kids, and they're going to teach their kids. Because racism is taught. It's not innate. It's not something that's born in us. It is a taught behavior. And if we can teach our kids that that's not acceptable, eventually it can go away. It's really a solvable problem.
Yeah.
So I just that made me just really go this week. And on the flip side of that, kind of the same vein, I saw this fight happen in California, boxing match, and it was against a Mexican fighter and an American fighter. An American fighter was from Pennsylvania, a journeyman. He'd been in the fight game for 15 years or whatever. This man came to the ring in boxing shorts, made to look like a brick wall,
Oh, Lord.
in red, white, and blue. And on his waistband, it said, "America First." He went to the boxing ring to fight this Mexican fighter with a wall on his trunks. That in and of itself makes me go,
Stupidity.
where are we at?
Who won the fight?
But then I got to tell you, the Mexican dude,
Put them all on the
the
ground.
Mexican dude proceeded to whoop this dude's tail. He shut both of this man's eyes and knocked him down twice within 6 rounds. And the dude's corner finally stopped the fight in between the 6th and 7th round because both of his eyes were shut. So, I mean, there's two sides of this. First of all, the serious side is we got to do better than that. Like, that can't even be the conversation. Secondly, if you're going to come to the ring in those pants, you best
You're
be
gonna
the
get your
best
butt whooped.
fighter ever.
You gotta be
Like-
able to prove it, man.
You better come in there as a beast if you're gonna wear those shorts. But that man, he beat him down, man. And,
Good for him.
But and to just say all that, man, just to say, man, we got to do better. And my hope and my prayer, man, is that. And I'm not saying there's not issues on both sides, because there are. But my hope and prayer is that we can sit down and have a conversation and do better together, like this. Get around a table. We talked about this a little bit last show. There is a thing coming up on August 25th that I'm hoping to take a lot of our leaders and our students
So
to
excited.
in Stone Mountain, Georgia, where we're going to go on top of Stone Mountain, Georgia, and we're going to pray, and we're going to fast, and we're going to ask for forgiveness for years of racism. And out of that same movement, it's called One Race. You can look them up online, Facebook, Instagram. They got a web page. Just look up One Race. I don't remember the exact. I think the website is oneracemovement.com. I'm not 100% on that though. Just Google One Race, Stone Mountain, Georgia, and it'll come up. But we're gonna go up on top of Stone Mountain, Georgia, where the KKK way back in the day kind of got their second wind, and they went up there annually for years. And would burn a cross on top of Stone Mountain, Georgia. And it was actually a Methodist pastor that started that movement.
Yeah.
And so we're saying, as pastors and church leaders and community leaders, that we want to repent and sow seeds of racial reconciliation, because we believe that revival won't happen until we can reconcile racially. And then real revival will take place. And so we're going on top of Stone Mountain, Georgia, August 25th to do that. And so I invite anybody listening, if you guys want to go, check it out, oneracemovement.com. Come join us, man. If you want to go with us, come roll with us. That'd be great. So they just get a conversation started. But out of that movement, this is my favorite part. They're encouraging us as clergy, as pastors, ministers, reverends, whatever you call yourself, to go and build a personal relationship with someone of another skin color, another race, and just start to have lunch together on regular, talk about hard subjects, get it all out on the table, have a conversation, get to know each other's families, and really just build a relational dynamic. And so I want to make that same challenge to anybody that's listening. Just say, hey, go find somebody that doesn't look like you, doesn't think like you, doesn't talk like you, doesn't look like you, doesn't smell like you, doesn't smile like you, doesn't talk like you. Go have lunch with that person.
Yeah.
And have hard conversations, you know. Having those conversations on social media does nobody any good. No one. It doesn't do anyone any good. It just ends up in a big argument, and you end up unfollowing your friends or deleting them or whatever. So just go sit down and have a conversation, man, over some coffee or ice cream. It's hard to be mad at somebody when you're eating ice cream. You ever been mad when you're eating ice cream? I don't know that I ever have. Like, maybe sad. Maybe my mouth hurt. Like, my mom would always take me to get ice cream when I got home from the dentist.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've never been mad. Like, I've never eaten some hot fudge sundae and been like, "Urgh." Like, I just never happened. So go have ice cream with somebody and have a conversation. So yeah, those are our sigh moments of the week. If you have some, text them to us. Hit us on social media with them. We'd love to hear about it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you want to dialogue with us, hit us on social media at We Are Pursuit, at We Are the letter R Pursuit. We love to dialogue with you. If you'd love for us to pray with you, you can go to our blog, pursuetoday.live, and we got a prayer section there where you can put prayer requests in and ask us to pray with you. We'd love to do that as well. So just we're going to keep the conversation rolling, and we're going to get into our hot topic for the day.
Yo.
And today's hot topic is about speech, about language. How do we use our language? What words do we use? And in particular, even a little deeper, is curse words.
Ouch. This has come up quite frequently
It
recently.
has. It's crazy. Like, I've had this conversation probably 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks with just different people. It's crazy how God does that. So what we want to talk about is, first of all, we understand, and the Bible is very clear, that your tongue is a powerful, powerful instrument.
Yeah.
Like, your speech plays a big role. And I want to even go so far as to saying, in today's world, in the culture in which we live in 2018, 21st century, digital age, that I would include speech in things like our texts, our memes that we post, anything we post online, any story you post online, that all extends to kind of your part of speech. Speech is made to communicate with each other. Like, if we didn't have to communicate, we would never have speech. And so all of that, I think, kind of extends into speech in today's digital age. And so we want to talk about that for a little bit. And in particular, like, why do we call curse words curse words? Why are they bad? Why is it even something that we should worry about? How can we use things like our memes and our social media accounts and our anything we post online? How can we use that more to glorify God and not just stir the pot? Just like we were talking about earlier, negativity sells. We get more posts, we get more comments when we're being negative than we do if we put something like, hey, here's a video of puppies, and everybody loves puppy videos. So what do you guys think? What's your opinions on speech and the like?
Man, you said this one time recently, but that's speech is where all the sin started. Like, from Satan's original first words to Eve and to Adam. Hey, just do this. It's no big deal. Just eat that fruit. Just his speech, his trickery is what started it all. All the sin that we're toiling with today is because of Satan's speech. And it's just such a powerful and dangerous thing we have to watch out for. And just even today's society, what we post on our social media, what we post towards others, it's just very powerful. It affects them. It affects our hearts, ourselves. Like saying, "Oh man, I look ugly in this picture" to someone, it puts that in your head. Like, "Oh, I look ugly.
right.
Oh, I look ugly. Oh, I look
That's
ugly."
right.
It just flows through your mind. Just speech is so powerful.
Yeah.
What you write down.
That's right.
And I would say, to add another category to that, the words that you think, because I definitely think that plays a huge part in our walk and in our lives spiritually, because
Right.
what you think about yourself then leads to what also comes out of your mouth. What is it? The verse that says, "Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks."
That's right.
So also being, conscious of what you think about yourself and what you think about other people, because, with words being so powerful, I think a lot of times when we think things, we can make agreements and these allowances that aren't true, but we just kind of throw them out there haphazardly. But we throw them out there haphazardly so much that we begin to subconsciously believe them for ourselves, and before you know it, you're in this huge spiritual stronghold that
Right.
You just kind of let yourself be thrown into because you weren't careful with what you said or what you thought. So just like with knowing how powerful words are, being careful in that and in what you say and in what you type as well, and just being mindful. Scripture says, "Be sober-minded, be watchful," and I think that includes many aspects of our lives, but definitely also with what we say, and being intentional with what we say. And the power of putting the actions behind your words as well. So yeah, I think that's my 2 cents.
That's good. Chris, you got anything you want to add?
Not a whole lot. I think that, as a teenager, I struggled with speech. I think because I thought that was something that would make me look cool.
Yeah.
Speech in terms of cursing and things like that. And it kept me in the, cool club. And then I got slammed down pretty quickly when I went to a private school, and I was told, I can't hang out with you. You have a terrible mouth. And so it just people listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth. It just doesn't speak intelligence. It's hurtful. It's just ugly. So I don't know. That's all I really say about that. I do think too that speech can be included in gossip as well.
Yes, right.
And I think that we get tangled up in gossip so quickly and say, well, I don't want to gossip, but yet you're gossiping. So we really need to be more mindful about what we're speaking, to whom we're speaking, and making sure we're not speaking out of turn.
Yeah.
That's
Or-
good.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Oh, you want me to go first? Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it just reminds you that words can bring great harm, but they can also bring great life and great healing.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, God, and this is something that God has really been showing me lately, is when God spoke, things happened.
Things were
Like,
created.
Things created.
Yeah.
Like God spoke things into existence. God
Yeah.
spoke life into existence. And even when I pray now, I often pray that God would speak into my life or speak into this person's life, because I see even those things, when Jesus, if you read about Jesus in the New Testament, like when he spoke, amazing things happened. Like he spoke to the demons and they came out. Even his last words, "It is finished," was powerful. Like he didn't say, it's over. He didn't say game over. He said it is finished, and the veil tore in two. The Holy Spirit was released from the Holy of Holies forever. Like it was there's power in your words.
Yeah.
And just one more thing, I have no
Go
problem.
ahead.
But with that, it makes me think of since we have been given the same authority in Jesus' name through the Holy Spirit, that our words can have the same impact that Jesus did because of the authority that has been given to us through the Holy Spirit. And that really brings you into focus of how your words are powerful and how we need to be filling ourselves with things that are Christ-like and things that are righteousness, so that again, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak, and we won't be saying things that will bring destruction, but will bring renewal and restoration.
Right. Amen.
Just kind of expounding on what Miss Kristen started on the cussing topic, or cursing. Although they can be very dangerous, and they can be very harmful if used in a destructive way, like Noah was saying. They're words that carry great power and carry great meaning, but whether or not they should be used is a topic of much debate.
Right.
It is seen like in the Bible a lot of times. Paul uses some kind of foul language at times. In
For
Philippians,
his day, it would be
in
very
Greek.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like in Philippians 3:8, indeed I count everything as lost because of the surpassing worth of knowing Christ Jesus my Lord. For his sake I have suffered the loss of all things and count them as rubbish in order that I may gain Christ. That word rubbish right there, in many translations it's said dung. Yeah. Because the word that he used,
that's what sheep do when Pastor Micah preaches.
It would have been the not so great word for poop.
It would have been a very no question.
And
but he used it in a purposeful way. And I agree with that. I agree with
versus trying to be cool, like so many teens often do today, or so many.
It's a filler.
It's a societal thing. It really is.
I would go even a step further than that. Just say, in and of itself, words are not sinful or non-sinful. Like
the intent.
It's the same with music. Like music is neither secular or sacred. It is the way it's used that makes it secular or sacred. It's the same thing with language. Like the word in and of itself doesn't make it a bad word, doesn't make it a curse word, doesn't make it a cuss word, whatever word you want to use. But it's the intent in which I use it.
Right.
Like I was telling people, some of you guys were here. I was talking about my dad. My dad uses curse words like their everyday language. Like he doesn't even know he's saying it, and it's not bad. He's not saying it with any kind of ill intent. It's just a way he speaks. Now, do I want to speak that way? No, it's just not the way I speak.
Right.
But I don't think if I were to say a curse word or a cuss word, whatever you want to call it, and go out and get hit by a bus, I'm going to hell because I said a cuss word. Like that's ludicrous. The bad part is 20 years ago the Methodist tradition, that was the thought. Like if you cursed, you were going to hell.
Well, I think some people even still today
would people think that,
very leaning towards that.
No question. Yeah. And so I do like, and this kind of came up because there are some groups out there that call themselves Christ followers, and they might be. I don't know. I'm not here to judge somebody's salvation. Some of them, we sing their songs every Sunday. Hillsong has a song out that they use the word hell in it, and they don't use it as the place hell. I forget the exact song it's in, but the phrase is, even if it hurts like hell, I will still praise you. And it's a worship song. And people are like, well, is that appropriate? But and I'm like, well, I mean, first of all, they're Australian. They speak differently down there than we do. Different context, different culture.
That's right.
To them, that wouldn't be even considered a curse word. But to us it is. So I understand that. And I understand if people don't want to sing that on Sunday mornings, it might be a stumble block for some of those people who don't understand the language, don't understand the culture. I get all that. But to say it's wrong, I'm not sure that I want to go that far just yet. The same thing with King's Kaleidoscope. I guess
Oh,
they
yeah.
dropped the big one. They
Yeah.
dropped the F word.
Yep.
Now I'm not going that far. Like I'm not going to get up on stage and drop the F bomb on somebody. Like
Hey,
that's not what I'm going
That's
to
why I
do.
released 2 versions.
That's right. That's right. But you know what? We can even take this back to John David Crowder's
Sloppy Wet Kiss.
Sloppy Wet Kiss.
Yeah.
Right.
They had
Some
this
people in the church
conversation
thought
every
that was
time.
way too much for way
Teenagers.
too scandalous for a worship song. Like even
They still do.
yeah, some people just will not refuse to sing that line, "Sloppy Wet Kiss," and they change it to
Unforeseen.
Unforeseen.
"Unforeseen
heavenly-
Kiss" or "Heavenly Approach," or I don't know what they changed it to,
Heavenly
but.
Kiss.
So, and I'm okay with that. I 100% am okay with it. But I'm also okay with not judging somebody who wrote that song with those feelings in their heart.
Right.
POD had a song years ago, and this may be a band that a lot of people don't remember.
I think I actually know this.
But they wrote a song. One of their friends was killed in an accident, and he was in a studio, and he said, I was just distraught. He said, I was sad. He said, I was crying. And he wrote a song with the D word in it. And he said, to be honest, that was the only word I had in my soul at that moment to
Yeah.
convey what I felt at that moment. And he said, I don't use that language every day. He said, but it really was the only word in my soul that I felt could convey. And so what I'm saying is I do not convey everyday cussing. Like
Yeah.
to me, if you're just cussing just to be cussing, your intent is 100% wrong, and you should probably change your language. I don't agree with cussing as filler words, like just cussing just to say a cuss word. I think it's uneducated.
rhymes
I just think
in
it's
rap.
uneducated. There's a better way. I agree with all of that, but also I'm not going to go all the way to the other side and say you should never say a cuss word. Like that it should be totally stricken from our lexicon, because our words are not the same as people's words all over the world, and we are not the morality police for everybody all over the
That's
world.
right.
So
Hate is a sin.
if
but
I had
words or not.
if I had a student sit in front of me who had a struggle with cussing, I would tell them, yes, you should probably stop cussing.
Yeah.
Like there's a better way, culturally where we're at. There's a better way to do that, to convey your feelings. But if you got a band like POD who is really writing this artistic song and that's the feeling, I don't know that I'm okay with that.
And I would think that that's where Hillsong was coming from as well.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. And plus, like I said, they come from a totally different culture. In Australia, that's not even a cuss word. That's just a regular old word. That's like shoe for them. Like it's just a regular old word. And I got this verse, and it's not the verse of the day, but I got this verse because it reminds me of when I was in college. And I would go to even say, this is worse than cussing, whatever you want to say. We had an awful time when I was in college of making fun of each other.
Yeah.
And there are times when I think sometimes our students step
Do it.
over the line.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's way more making fun of each other than there are uplifting and encouraging each other. And so we had gotten to this point in college with my little friend group. There was 11 or 12 of us. And I'll be honest, I'm great at making fun of people. Like
really?
I am
What?
I am as witty.
Hashtag not my drummer.
That's right. I am as witty as it gets, and it comes from years of being on the street
Yeah.
and just busting on each other. And that was just the way. If you couldn't bust on each other, you just might as well stay in the house. Like, 'cause you was going to go home crying every day. So I am great at making fun of people. But it got to this point in college, man, where we weren't ever saying anything uplifting to each other. We were always saying things to make each other feel bad. And then we would say this phrase, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. And then somebody found this verse. And of course, it's a verse in Proverbs. So it's not a what?
Promise.
It's not a promise. But it is a wise way of
Sounds
looking at
familiar.
life. Sounds familiar,
what
right?
is?
Episode 9. But it's in Proverbs 26. It starts at verse 18 and it goes to verse 19. It says this: like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, and death. That escalated quickly. Verse 19 says, is the man who deceives his neighbor, and in some translations it says, and deceives his friend, and says, I am only joking. It says, like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, and death is a man who deceives his friend and says, I am only joking. So sometimes I think that is even worse than cussing.
Yeah.
Is that all we ever say to each other are jokes, are tearing each other down because of what you said earlier, Evan, that our words are so powerful.
Right.
That even if you're joking with someone, first of all, you don't know what that guy, that person, that girl or guy is going through at that moment.
Yeah.
So it could be that one thing that really puts them over the edge. And two, if all we ever say to each other is, ha ha, you look stupid, ha ha, you're dumb, ha ha ha, you got bad clothes, ha ha ha, and then we just laugh like, ha ha, it's a joke, that becomes the norm, and we're never lifting each other up. Like we're never using our words to encourage each other. And that to me is even more of a problem than saying a curse word in a worship song.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I land on it is I wouldn't cuss. I wouldn't. I try my hardest to use speech. And even digitally, like I had to at one time, man, and I know this is going to come as a super shock to y'all. At one time, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I was the worst on Facebook when it comes to like sports stuff. Like I would go out of my way to talk about other people's teams.
Yep.
And I was really good at starting fights and arguments and making people feel bad because their team lost. And it just so happens, and I know people are like, oh, you're such a bandwagon. I'm not. I just got super lucky.
Yeah.
Like I became a Patriots fan in 1992, and they got good in 1994. So I mean, I got lucky, and they've been good ever since. But guess what? Brady and Belichick are going to have to retire eventually, and my day is coming. My come up and just coming
Quickly. It's coming.
I became an Alabama fan in 2001 when we moved to Alabama. They were terrible till 2007, but now they're amazing, and they've been amazing since then. Yeah, they've been amazing since 2007, since Saban got there.
Well, they were a little good before 2007.
No.
too.
In 2001 and 2002, 2003, they were terrible.
Yeah, but then they started picking it up, and then Saban went over.
I guess when you're an Auburn fan,
Okay.
500
Okay.
is
All
picking it up.
2004 perfect season, left out of the playoffs. I mean.
But anyway, I was really good at doing this online. But I've told myself, unless I have a personal relationship with the person, I just don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't even talk about sports because I saw how damaging my words were to people. Like I literally lost friends on Facebook, guys that I've known for a long time. We just couldn't be friends on Facebook anymore because of that very thing. And I think that is worse than saying a curse word. And it's using your digital footprint, it's using your words, it's using your speech to just tear people up. And to me, that's worse than saying a curse word.
This recent fad of gay jokes, just where people joke around and call each other gay, that
It's
has
crazy.
been such a hateful,
It is
and
hateful.
just a mean thing. And that to me, if a curse word's used like in an appropriate way, that's worse than using a cuss word.
Yeah,
in an
no
appropriate
question.
way. I mean, it's
No
just,
question. No
Ugh.
question.
In my mind, it kind of goes back to kind of like, was it Paul who talked about how one thing might not be a sin for someone else, but it could be for this person, and so you shouldn't do this in front of that person because it could be a stumbling block. What?
Yeah,
I know that's somewhere.
it's a stumbling block. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just saying don't be a stumbling block to
Yeah,
people. And yeah, go ahead, Noah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was the kind of the point I was trying to make was because I know some people who are believers who, let's just say, they don't believe that drinking alcohol is wrong, but they know people who
Yes.
do believe that just like at any amount is like no.
That's right.
And they won't do it in front of them because they want to not hurt their witness to
That's
that
right.
person. But they don't personally believe that if you
That's
drink
right.
a tiny amount of alcohol that you will be
Right.
sent to hell.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, as
And here's
that's
what else
where I fall.
here's what else I don't try to do on those extra biblical things.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things we call extra biblical. The things that there's clear definition on one hand. Like the Bible is very clear that you cannot be a drunkard. Like you cannot live a drunken life.
Yeah.
Now we can argue all you want. It's a slippery slope. Alcohol is not good for you. It's a toxin. It's a poison. There's all kinds of things we can talk about. But saying drinking a drink is a sin, I don't know that I find that anywhere biblically. So to me, that's an extra biblical argument. Same thing with cursing. Yeah, well, you have to use your words smart. Your tongue is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
If you're saying I'm joking all the time, it's like throwing flaming arrows at people. All of those things we can talk about when it comes to the tongue. But just saying a curse word to me is not a sin. It's an extra biblical thing. So what my personal stance on that is, I don't even try to argue that with people anymore.
Yeah.
Like if somebody tells me, well, I think alcohol is a sin, I don't try to argue that person out of that position. Like
There's
I'm okay with
nothing
it.
to argue.
Yeah, there's nothing to argue about at that point. Like I'm okay with that they have taken that extra step. Now, as long as they're not out trying to push that on people, I'm okay with it. Like I don't even try to have that argument anymore.
Yeah.
So but I still preach and teach and counsel health.
Yeah.
Like, so if you are using alcohol in any way that is detrimental to your health, we need to have that conversation. So, I mean, that's kind of where I stand on it. It's the same way with language.
Yep.
If you're using your language in any way that is detrimental to your health or the health of your community
Yeah.
or the health of the other people in your life, we're going to have that conversation. You need to watch what you're doing with that because you're not being a servant at that point. You're not being selfless at that point. You're being selfish. And the Bible is clearly against that.
Yeah.
Like that is a clear, like Jesus came to serve and not be served. To love your neighbor as yourself, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul. All of those things are very clear. So, Chris, what do you got for our scripture today?
Today I have Ephesians 4:29. It says, "Don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them."
So good.
It's right on.
That's right. It's funny how the scriptures got it right.
Yeah.
Let your words be helpful and uplifting. Just on another note, one of the things we used to do, and I would encourage especially our guys. Like I absolutely love our guys. They're so much fun. Evan, you're part of the leadership of that crew. We would do this every now and then, and I'll tell you, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. We would take days, and we would say, okay, today we're going to try to go 24 hours without saying anything negative to each other. That's hard.
Can you even talk to each other at that point?
It's so
I
hard.
mean, sometimes some days are like that.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
I witness that a lot, like when I'm in little small groups, like Sunday morning was one of them, and I was like, man, you guys just rail on each other
Yep.
all the time.
Yeah.
So what else is going to be talked about?
Well, I mean, it just changes the culture. You have to
Yeah.
start looking for those things to talk about that are good and pleasing and pure and uplifting. And so I just challenge our guys to do that.
Yeah.
Usually girls are a lot better about it.
Yeah, they are, especially ours. Like especially the student leaders we have that are female. They're really
Very
good at this.
encouraging and
But
positive.
Blythe is the best.
Yeah.
Like Blythe is.
She brought cards
Oh,
saying, "I love your
yes.
smile."
Oh, what was
She
that?
is the
that was
best.
That was on Valentine's.
Compliment.
No, Compliments Day.
Oh yeah,
It
It was like
Compliments Day.
National Compliments
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah, one of those fake.
That was the
holidays.
best. That's right. Those made up holidays. It's like National Waffle Day. That's a great holiday, by
Wasn't
the
it
way.
like Barnabas? He was the
I think-
encourager.
I don't know. I'm not
don't
that
know.
biblical. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
okay.
I have a degree in biblical literature.
No, I just remember when I was in college, we had a Barnabas group, and
that's what
we
it
would
is.
get together
That's what
and
it
we
is.
would make encouragement
That's what it
notes
is.
and cards.
Oh.
and stuff
Barnabas
like
the
that.
Barabbas group?
encourager.
What?
Barabbas?
Barabbas.
No,
Barnabas, not
No, I know, I
Barabbas.
know.
Oh, Evan.
Gosh,
Murderers
Evan.
group.
I love you. All right, how about our final thought, Evan? What is it?
Oh, Evan.
Oh yeah. Oh wait.
Do you
what
have
was
one?
it? I do, but
Okay.
it's gone. What was it?
Our final thought.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, it was something. It was something else. Man.
Don't rail on
Don't
rail
fail
on
on
the
us now.
Beebs.
Oh no.
It was something very.
Don't
So-
rail
no,
on the
I
Beebs
came up
singing
with it in my
"Reckless
head.
Love" at
It was something
Coachella.
else. No, that wasn't it. That was a cool thing.
I
though.
love that actually.
It was
That's
something
really cool.
else. Oh my gosh. It was
Well-
following the typical guideline.
What?
The typical guideline
Oh yeah,
we followed of either or.
Yeah. Do you have one, or if you don't, I'll make one up.
I'm gonna hate myself so much.
You're gonna remember it right after we stop recording,
Yeah.
and you're gonna probably start
Uh
crying.
huh. That's right.
Oh gosh.
It was a good one, wasn't
Here
it?
we go.
Just take it, Mike. Just take it.
Evan.
All right, here's the final thought. Evan's going to get the next one. All right. If you could only do one of these, you have to leave one off for the rest of your life.
Oh no, I'm terrible at these.
You can only do one, but you could never do the other again.
Oh.
Would you
You got it, didn't you?
I got it.
save it for the next one? Write down. Would you
It was
either?
stupid.
This is a hard one. Well, it's not gonna be hard for Chris, I don't think. But would you either listen to music or watch movies?
Hands down.
Watch movies.
Hands
and
down.
and TV considers music,
up.
or TV is considered movies.
Yeah.
So anything moving,
that's easy.
videos, movies, television, would you either and listen, your movies can never have music in them again. So you either listen to music or watch moving pictures
Easy.
I got
with
an answer.
dialogue,
I have an answer.
and why?
I have an answer.
Okay.
Music, hands down.
Really?
Yeah, I'm totally.
I
music
agree
hands
with
down.
Evan.
I don't.
Wow, you guys are all ridiculous.
Movies
I
don't
agree.
give me
No.
that much excitement. I've never really been a movie family. Never like my parents. I was deprived of movies most of my childhood. Love you, mom. But
Kelly's the best.
She is the
Hashtag
best.
Kelly Amen.
She had you
Uh,
busy doing stuff.
yeah. But I've just come to love music so much.
I absolutely love music too, but I'm definitely watching movies.
Seriously?
No,
Yeah,
Really?
no
You're
question.
the one
I
that
don't
I would think
know.
would
Yes,
be music.
I don't think
No.
I agree with that.
Can I say my thought process?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what we want.
Because I'm a big movies guy, and I love watching things. I love watching videos on YouTube.
I think I know
love
what you're gonna say,
Netflix. Of all of that stuff. I've been keeping up with the Avengers movies since Iron Man. Like, I love the stuff. But as I sat there thinking about that question, because I love music so much, I also thought about how the world has lived for thousands of years without looking at a screen, without looking at other stories, but music has always been in the world.
That's
And just to me, with the words thing comes music, because we use words in music so often, and it's very powerful and moving in so
Yeah.
many different ways that I can't live without that. Music is so important to me.
Yeah,
And
totally.
and with my connection with God, because He is a singing God, and He uses words, and like I couldn't
I didn't say
do
we
that.
couldn't use words. I just said
Well,
no
yeah,
music.
but words in music in general, is what I was going with
The
there.
Psalms would be gone.
Well, you can read them.
You
You,
could
just
read
can't
'em.
sing them.
Yeah, but they would never be
Do
created.
you
'cause
sing
it
the
was
songs
put
when
to
you read
music.
them?
They were
Scripture.
put to music,
But-
but they wouldn't have been invented because they were songs originally.
They were David's
But I
songs.
think
Yeah.
that the consequences of a world without music would be far more drastic than we think. Because
Yes.
singing is so much in the Bible. I mean, in
It
the Bible it
united
says,
us.
"Sing a new
Yeah.
song to the Lord." Sing to the Lord so many times. Sing praise and thankfulness and all these things. Like, I just feel like the consequences of that would be far greater than we realize. And
Watch
so for me
movies for the Lord.
personally,
Yeah, but you would never be able to have the blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus movie.
Shoot, you're
Thank
right. Never
the
mind.
Lord.
I have an opinion.
okay, Kristen.
No way.
I mean, I do. I mean,
Really?
I definitely
I just
would
gotta tell
keep-
you, I filtered a just terrible
Me too.
comment out
Me
of my
too.
head right
Me
there.
too.
You guys.
Good self-control. Good self-control.
Because I love her.
Control of the tongue.
She's
is what we're
gorgeous.
talking about.
She's beautiful. That's why.
Would definitely.
Positive language.
I'm with Evan and Noah on the music side.
That's okay.
Obviously,
You can all be wrong.
That's.
Hey, movies aren't mentioned in the Bible.
No,
Singing
listen.
is.
The reason is because I express myself through music. Like I love to play. I love to sing. And you're saying that I would never be able to do
Never.
those things again, and that would crush
I
my
knew
soul.
this would be easy for you.
Oh yeah, that's. I can do without TV. I don't have to have it. I like watching TV.
I don't even watch that much TV.
We can still read. We
I
can read
love to
books
Kristen
and
read
watches a ton of
stories.
television.
Huh?
You watch a ton of television.
It's my brain. It's my mind-numbing moments.
The world just survived for thousands of years without a screen that I feel like it would be far more
I
better.
can create.
If that is a phrase, I can far more better.
I can
It's
create a
definitely
movie in
not
my mind
right,
reading a
but I
book
like it.
just as well
Yeah.
as I can watch it
Yeah.
on a screen.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell you, I would much rather have movies.
I don't agree with
Fake
that.
news.
That's okay. You
I'm
can be wrong.
serious. Like you
Get out of
play
here,
music.
CNN. Fake news.
No,
You play music all the time. The second you're up.
that's right.
In the
I do
morning,
all the time.
You've got the
but I would
music
still
on.
rather have movies.
Oh my
And
god.
movies without music would be
What?
so weird.
Dude, I've
It
seen
would.
I've
music
seen
changes the atmosphere
it
in a
would,
movie.
and that's the one thing I had to think through. But I have seen movies that were even more moving
Without it.
without the music. Like there's this, my buddy Jason Crossman wrote and directed a movie that was completely silent, and it was a horror picture, and just the suspense of being silent was like, wow, it was crazy. It was crazy.
But to be able to,
And I
you'd
think
have to stay
here's
like
my
that.
here's my other thing. Here's my other thing. Wow, this is going to be very, very controversial.
And wrong.
No, it's not. It's not. It's definitely not wrong, but it's going to be controversial. I believe sometimes that music has become a crutch to us, especially as Christ followers.
Explain.
I think, not. Don't
All
get me
of
wrong.
us are related
Don't get me
musically
wrong.
in the church. So.
Don't get me wrong. I love worship. I'm 100% okay with worship through song,
Yeah.
but I think we've lost silence,
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah, I
do
get
agree with that.
180%.
and I think music has become the crutch for our silence
Yeah.
So like,
because we've gotten so used to something being on all the time
Right.
that even a worship service, if we were to not sing music and sit for 30 seconds,
a lot of
People
people
just
would be
have an
uncomfortable.
people would
itch.
be so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I get
What?
that.
Talking to God?
Yeah, it's like, are you listening
Yeah.
to God? What?
I would
You
love
mean
that.
listening to God?
That would be
I
awesome.
get that. And so
Listening.
my thought with that is, well, it's just a we need to do better situation with, taking time and getting away in the wilderness, I guess you could say, whatever your wilderness is, and just getting in silence and alone time with the Lord with completely
no
nothing to
question.
distract you. Because I believe
Yep.
that worship music can be part of your alone time, but there are even deeper levels that you can go to with complete silence. So I would say both are beneficial.
How many times did Jesus sing in the New Testament versus how many times did he go by himself and cry?
That's true.
Yeah, he didn't sing at all that I remember.
But
Maybe
he also didn't watch movies, so you're
Yeah,
wrong
but movies
too.
weren't invented. But
But Jesus
But it
probably
was
would have
Jesus.
said, go out
he also
and-
didn't wear shoes, but we all wear shoes.
Yes, he did. He wore
He
sandals.
maybe,
I wear sandals.
maybe.
Okay,
wear
he was
sandals.
to walk on that
Hey,
water.
we're getting so
he'd
far
be
away
wearing
from the
sandals.
question.
He also didn't have a podcast, but
Yeah.
That's
we
true.
have one of those.
So we're wrong.
That logic
I
is
wish
terrible.
you could invite Jesus to our.
But I think it's a cool conversation to have.
Yeah.
That's why we have them, so we can have cool conversations and
Right.
get everybody's ideas and okay. And I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong today because you could be right, but I would rather have movies than music, and you guys would rather have music than movies, and that's okay.
I can respect your choice.
I do not respect yours, but
No,
no, I'm just kidding. I
just
totally
kidding.
respect it.
Just
Totally
kidding.
respect it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cut.
Man throwing flaming arrows and death.
You have pierced my heart. Now I'm
Hey.
saddened.
I love you guys.
I love you all
Thank you,
too.
Evan. I love you too.
Love you
I love
too.
Tim, my son too. He's so awesome.
You're a babe, Tim.
I know you guys can't see him, but he's sitting here with the room with us.
Trying really hard to ignore
He's
us.
trying
That's
to
what
ignore us.
Or
He's really
he's-
good at ignoring.
For real.
I
Just
figured we'd started with Tim.
You're
We
not
could end with
hearing
Tim.
he's-
Guys, if you got any questions, comments, you want to hang out with us, you want to online, hit us up on social media. We are Pursuit, the letter R, at We Are Pursuit. Comment on our YouTube videos. You can get us on Facebook. Send us a prayer request through our blog page. Comment on any of our blogs. We'd love to just have conversation with you online, or you can come in person on Wednesday nights, 6 to 8 o'clock, 4078 Milton Road, Christ Community Church, Columbus, Georgia, 31907. Come check us out. We'd love to see you. I got a spot just for you. Got an invitation. I'll even pay for your food and give you a shirt on the first day.
Yo.
Yeah.
Those are free perks for showing up. We love what we do. Thank you for listening. Share, like, comment, tell your friends, tell your mama.
Tell your dog.
Tell your dog. Tell
Not
your
your cat, 'cause we
sister.
hate cats.
Don't tell your cat. We don't like them. But if
just
you like
lost
cats, we
listeners.
like you. So tell your turtle. Whatever you got.
Your goldfish.
Listen to our podcast. And we love you for it. This is Pastor Mike Hofer with
Evan Amen.
No Barfield.
Kristen Hofer.
This has been Pursuit Table Talk, episode 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we out.
I wish Mother was here.
This is the Candyland Hour for all good children. The orchestra will play our theme song.
You know that song, don't you?
Sure I do.
Well, then sing it.
Blow,